The sky, a vast and seemingly endless expanse, has for generations represented humanity's ambition, our desire to conquer new frontiers. We have mastered this domain, creating magnificent machines that traverse continents in mere hours. Yet this familiar realm holds secrets, stories of moments when our mastery faltered, and the sky simply swallowed our creations whole. Hello and welcome. My name is Saka, and I invite you to join me on a journey through the clouds, into the heart of aviation's most profound and unsettling enigmas. We will explore 10 instances where aircraft, and the souls they carried, vanished, leaving behind a silence that echoes through the decades. Together, we will navigate the turbulent winds of history to uncover the top 10 most mysterious airplane disappearances ever recorded. Our journey begins in the modern era with a mystery that unfolded before the eyes of a connected world. On the 8th of March 2014, a Boeing 777 Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 departed from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. On board were 239 souls. Less than an hour into its flight, it vanished from civilian radar screens over the South China Sea. There was no distress call, no hint of trouble, no final words, just an unnerving absolute silence. The aircraft, one of the most advanced in the world, had simply disappeared. What followed was the most expensive and extensive search in aviation history. Military radar, however, told a different, more bewildering story. The aircraft had not fallen from the sky, but had inexplicably deviated from its path, communicating only through a series of automated satellite pings, which allowed investigators to trace that ghost's journey. The final ping placed the aircraft somewhere along a massive arc in the southern Indian Ocean, one of the most remote and inhospitable places on Earth. Theories abound: a catastrophic technical failure leading to hypoxia, a deliberate act of mass murder-suicide by one of the pilots, a remote cyber hijacking, or a fire in the cargo hold carrying a large shipment of lithium-ion batteries. Despite years of searching and the discovery of a few pieces of debris washed ashore, the main wreckage and the truth remain lost beneath the waves. We now travel back to 1937, to a time when aviation was still a frontier for heroic pioneers. Among the greatest was Amelia Earhart, a woman whose bravery and ambition captured the world's imagination. She embarked on a daring quest to circumnavigate the globe at the equator in her specially modified Lockheed Model 10E Electra. Alongside her navigator, Fred Noonan, she had completed over 22,000 miles of the arduous journey. Only one final vast stretch of the Pacific Ocean remained between Lae, the Pacific Expanse, and the tiny remote Howland Island. Their radio transmissions, though faint and fraught with static, indicated they were nearing Howland Island, but were struggling to find it. "We must be on you but cannot see you," Earhart reported, her voice laced with growing uncertainty. "Gas is running low." The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, stationed at the island to guide them in, could hear her, but she apparently could not hear them. Then, after one final garbled transmission, the radio fell silent. For 87 years, the fate of Earhart and Noonan has remained one of history's most compelling mysteries. On a clear December afternoon in 1945, from their base in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this was Flight 19, a routine overwater navigation training exercise. The 14 airmen aboard were guided by an experienced instructor, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. They were scheduled to fly a triangular route out over the Atlantic and return. They never did. Hours into the flight, radio transmissions revealed a crew that was utterly and inexplicably lost. Compasses were reported to be malfunctioning. A Martin Mariner flying boat dispatched to search also disappeared from radar in the same area. A tanker ship later reported seeing a massive explosion in the sky, believed to be the Mariner. Naval investigators and experts point to a more terrestrial cause: spatial disorientation on the part of the flight leader, compounded by deteriorating weather. In the annals of aviation mysteries, few are as cryptic as that of the BSAA Stardust. On August 2, 1947, a British South American Airways Lancastrian on the final leg from Buenos Aires to Santiago crossed the formidable Andes. Its radio operator transmitted a final, bizarre message in Morse code, STENDEC, and then nothing. For more than 50 years, the disappearance of the Stardust remained an absolute mystery, fueling speculation from alien abduction to sabotage. Two Argentinian mountaineers climbing Mount Tupungato stumbled upon scattered wreckage. In 2000, the crash site was confirmed. Experts now believe the crew, likely flying in the then poorly understood jet stream, thought they had cleared the Andes and descended into a glacier face. The impact buried the aircraft in ice. On March 16, 1962, a Lockheed Super Constellation operating as Flying Tiger Line Flight 739 disappeared while flying from Guam to the Philippines. Carrying 93 U.S. Army soldiers and 3 South Vietnamese personnel bound for Vietnam, it vanished over the Philippine Sea. An enormous search involving Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard scoured more than 200,000 square miles. They found nothing. A civilian oil tanker reported a bright flash in the sky near the expected position of the plane, leading to the leading theory of in-flight sabotage. But with no wreckage, it could never be proven. On November 8, 1957, Pan Am Flight 7 departed San Francisco for Honolulu with 36 passengers and 8 crew. Midway across the Pacific, the aircraft fell silent. After a massive search, floating wreckage and bodies were found nearly 1,000 miles northeast of Honolulu. Toxicology showed elevated carbon monoxide, suggesting fire or fumes before breakup, but engines and main cabin were never recovered. Varig Flight 967 vanished on January 30, 1979, en route from Tokyo with a stop in Los Angeles, carrying 153 paintings by Manabu Mabe valued at over $1.2 million. No wreckage was found. On January 17, 1949, the Avro Tudor 4-star Ariel departed Bermuda for Kingston. In perfect weather, it reported changing frequency to MRX and then vanished without a distress call. The search yielded nothing, no trace, no debris. The loss was total and unexplained. On June 23, 1950, Northwest Orient Flight 2501 disappeared over Lake Michigan after a denied descent request. Debris, seat cushions, and some remains were found, but the main fuselage is still missing. On October 13, 1972, a Uruguayan Fairchild FH-227D crashed in the Andes. Initially a disappearance, it became an astonishing survival story. Survivors endured 72 days, 2 trekked to find help. From the depths of the Indian Ocean to the highest peaks of the Andes, the stories of these 10 flights linger in our collective consciousness. They remind us that for all our technological certainty, there are still blank spaces, moments where our systems fail and nature reclaims its mystery. We seek answers for the families who were left with none. Each piece of debris found, each new sonar scan, each re-examined theory is a small light cast into a great darkness. What are your thoughts on these profound mysteries? Do you have a theory about what happened to MH370 or perspective on Amelia Earhart's final flight? I invite you to share in the comments below. Thank you for joining me.